And he tells me 12. And I'm on my 8.
Hey, but you're
pushing.
still going.
Yeah, still going.
Well, you're still pushing.
And I'm pushing.
My broski bros.
Come on, let's go.
Back at it.
Back at it. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a good day.
The
It's a
energy's
blessed
good.
day. Oh,
the energy's good today.
Very good. It's it's always a blessing to have another day to create more energy, to create more memories, and create more happiness.
Talking about energy, I just recently read that you can remove the planets, you can remove sound. Everybody looks at me like I'm insane every time I start talking
Every
like
time
this.
you start talking galaxy.
This is the galaxy, you know. So you can remove all the planets, you can remove sound, you can remove sight, and the only thing that you're left with is awareness and consciousness, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you look at the galaxy, when there's no stars, it looks like it's empty, right?
Yeah.
But there's energy.
Yeah. I like that.
There's energy. There's energy that lives inside us just the same way. There's energetic frequencies in outer space, like lightning and all those, storms that you see, right? So the energetic frequencies are in outer space. Well, it's the same for us as human beings. We have the same energy inside, just like outer space. The only thing is that because we can't see it, we somehow assume we don't have it.
Yeah.
You have to activate it.
Yeah. In order to activate energy, you have to activate motivation first. Motivation and energy goes hand in hand.
Ambition, resilience, courage, belief, sincerity.
Yeah, confidence,
all of that. But you see, like, it's so much easier to fall into the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Like, everybody always seems to be lazy, angry, resentful, hateful, depressed, suppressed,
tired,
doubtful, conspiracies,
envy, all of that.
Greed.
And you see the two separate columns, but they attract one another. Like if you're depressed, it attracts envy, it attracts all this other stuff. But yet, if with the energy, your energy, you have the power to attract what's healthy, such as ambition, confidence, the next step to move forward. So, what are we attracting in our lives?
Yeah, and why?
Yes, there's always a why.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying is like a lot of people don't understand the why.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've been there. It's like, why am I even doing half the things that I'm doing? Mm-hmm. Like, what is the end result? Because everything that we do always has a consequence. Mm-hmm. Like, why do you go to the bar? And then when you get your DUI, what do you blame it on?
Yeah.
Like, it's your fault.
Yep.
You're going to the bar, you're drinking, you're getting in your car irresponsibly, you're getting on the freeway. Not only are you jeopardizing your life, but you're jeopardizing other people's life. I mean, I was one of those.
Yeah.
Right? You ever hear the story about, the drunk driver that ends up crashing into a man that's been sober for 15 years?
Mm. Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this man, stopped drinking. He moved on with his life, and he happens to lose his life over a drunk driver. Same with vices. Like we were talking last time, like a vice. Mm-hmm. Like a vice is, it doesn't speak to you with words.
Yeah.
It's not in physical form as far as it's attractive to you by, lust. Mm-hmm. It's a vice is a bottle that doesn't talk, but it doesn't speak, but it suffocates.
Yeah, we give it the power it never had, the authority that it never was allowed to destruct.
To destruct.
Yes.
To destruct. So we basically, in so many ways, wake up in the morning and get ourselves ready to go destroy ourselves.
Yeah. There is a why in everything we do. I love that my kids, they're always asking questions. And I'm always giving, it's never like if they ask me, can I have ice cream at 10 o'clock at night? I'm like, no. And that's it. No, I make sure there is a why because they need to understand that there's a why behind every motive. There's a why behind every answer to allow them to see that there's a difference between good and wrong. Like something, the reason I'm saying no, there's a healthy reason why. And the reason I say yes is because there's a why. I want to celebrate you on specific things. So, but when I look at my own life, I gotta put in order my whys. Why do I want to go over here? Is it because it's gonna just benefit me, or is it gonna benefit me in the future? Is it a want or a need? And I gotta learn how.
Well, the want and the need, I think that's the $1 million question. We want a lot of things we don't need.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just for real. Like, I won't say any names. Somebody the other day sent me a message about a car. I'm like, who cares? Who cares about your rims? And like, my car will take me to the same place your car will take you.
Yeah, thank you for not saying my name.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right.
No, but again, with a lot of things that we want, we don't necessarily need.
Yeah.
When you get into a pattern, or you start walking in a path where you start embracing the things that you need, your life starts moving in that direction, because you're actually giving yourself something that is necessary for you to gravitate to a better energy.
Yes.
Gravitating to a better energy requires what we said: ambition, courage, resilience, belief, sincerity, all of that stuff. So when you're not open to activate those traits in you, you stagnate.
Yeah.
You stagnate and you're just stuck. And you start blaming everyone else.
Yeah. And if truth be told, I could talk with the experience from that whole point.
Same.
So even with you right now, you're in a journey right now, and your energy is different from 10 years ago.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, 10 years ago, my energy would have just, instead of lighting up the room, it would have turned the room on fire.
You walk into rooms now with smiles instead of like looking around like, who do I got a mad dog, or who do I got to impress?
Yeah, but again, like I had the inner poverty.
Yeah.
And again, we all still have particles of our past.
Oh, of course.
But when you grow, you're building armor, and armor that helps you subside those particles that are still trying to be effective in your life. You learn how to learn resolution in conflict, right? How to de-escalate things. So when you are in the midst of growth and you're not able to de-escalate something, and then you fall back and your past pattern dominates you, then you regress. And then the regress suppresses you. And then you're like, damn, in the midst of my growth. It's like if you're running and you're jogging and you're about to hit the 5-mile mark and you're proud of yourself, and on the 4th mile, you start consuming yourself, where I can't do this. Yeah. I'm going to fail right now. And then you stop. Yeah. And you were this close.
It's close.
And then you got to start all over again, because no matter what, you came close, but you didn't achieve it.
Yeah.
Coming close isn't good enough sometimes. If you're making a conscious effort to have a goal, when you major in minor things, that's what your result's going to be.
Share with me a little bit more of energy. Share with me on lessons that you've learned more.
Energy to me isn't something that you can put on a piece of paper and make a goal.
No.
To engage with.
No.
I think the more you activate your peace, and the more that you want to actually, like we said, what you need, right?
Yes.
If I keep giving myself what I know that I need, my energy will gravitate to my effort. And like I was saying last time, like, this is your growth.
Yes.
Right? This is a powerful thing right here. This is your growth. Your growth, if you give to your growth gives to you.
Yeah.
If you abandon your growth stays right there. Like, that's on you.
Stays, yeah. Exactly.
That's on you. Like a tree. The tree's right there. And it gives you shade if you want to. The tree doesn't come to you. You go to the tree for the shade.
Exactly. And no one could create your own energy.
You don't. No, you don't.
You have to create.
Well, and again, I mean, there was times in my life when, I was on the road, or I was doing things, and, you actually learn how to mimic energy, right? But it comes from a fabricated place, and that's why it doesn't stay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, you see, like, what happened? Like, I met you one day and you were like, and wow, that's because it didn't come from a good place. So
it wasn't organic.
It wasn't organic. So And I'm not saying this because to give anybody the impression that when you're growing or that when you're, on a path to do, to engage with actual growth, that you don't have any problems, right? Mm-hmm. Because you still have problems.
Oh, of course.
But you do, and while you are growing, you are nurturing the foundation of your energy, because your energy is like the galaxy. Your energy is like outer space. Like, you can't touch it. You feel it and you see it. You can't touch it.
The misconception is that when you're growing, that everything is good. No, when you grow, you gain the maturity to handle the problems in the correct way.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that becomes what you do most of the time.
Yes.
But we still battle with particles of our past that are unhealed.
As we always will. Like I said in last time in the book of James, it talks about the beginning of James. It talks about in your trials and your problems, find joy in it. You need to find joy even in the hard times. When you're growing and problems hit you, take it as a blessing that, you know what, this is another obstacle that I'm able to overcome if I just get through it. It never ends.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everybody's always, I need to get through it.
Yeah.
Right? I need to get through it. Okay. If you can be willing to accept that it's a journey with no destination, then you become part of the journey. One of the things that I love about my son one time, he was telling me that he was going to go paintballing. And I'm like, hey, doesn't it hurt? And he's like, it's part of the sport. Mm-hmm. So he was okay with dealing with the pain from the paintball because to him, it's part of the sport. So if you are accepting that when you're growing and when you're trying to nurture yourself and you're trying to better yourself, you're still going to have obstacles.
Yeah.
Then you embrace your growth. Because some people think, I'm growing, I'm not supposed to have problems.
Yeah.
The misconception of it. But what I will say is, when you grow, you also outgrow people. You outgrow patterns.
Yep.
You outgrow environments. You outgrow a lot of things, and you no longer resonate to them, and you don't longer gravitate to them. So you go this way, right? Yeah. And then you're in a different frequency. Then you start creating. Before you know it, you wake up one day and you have your own galaxy, and the people that are around you are people that are your frequency.
Yeah.
Like, imagine what it would be like if everybody that you saw, you knew, was on the same path. Not necessarily that lives like you or thinks like you, but is on a path to live a better life, a well-guided life that comes from a good place. Because you and I are brothers and we gravitate, but you have your ways and I have my ways, but they're healthy for each other.
Yeah.
They don't damage each other and they don't destroy each other.
And they don't overpower each other.
They don't overpower each other. No.
That's really good. I like that. And I think that's very helpful. And whether we know it or not know it, it's always good to refreshen up on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like working out. It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
If you go to the gym 3 times a month, you're not going to see any results.
No.
If you go to the gym 5 days a week for a month, for 6 months, you're going to see results.
Yes.
Because you continue to nurture and you continue to stay consistent in what you're doing. But you can go to the gym all you want. You can go anywhere you want, all you want. But if you don't do your part in that journey, then you're not going to see any results.
Exactly. Even working out, your muscles first need to rip.
They need to rip. You need to go through that pain.
Yep.
You need to be uncomfortable. When you're training and it's like, oh man, I can't do this. Like, that's when you're growing the most.
Yeah. There's multiple times I've been in the gym with you. And he tells me 12. And I'm on my 8.
Hey, but you're still going.
Yeah, still going.
But you're still pushing.
And I'm pushing. And I feel the pain. I'm like, come on, gotta go. The next day, though, I feel it, but it's a good sore.
Yeah.
It's good. And it's like, you know that, okay, maybe I didn't hit 12, but I hit 10. But I accomplished 10.
Well, yeah, but that's what I tell you. Like, hey, you know what? I'd rather you give me 10 good ones than start losing your posture.
Oh, yeah.
And start using other parts of your body to gain the 12. Like, latching on to other things that are not healthy for you to take you where you need to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Like, everything is synonymous with everything. Everything is synonymous with everything.
Yeah.
In one form or another, whether you understand it or not. You know, I think that a person that breaks their back and you try to tell me what you went through and I didn't break my back, the way that you would feel if you have a conversation with somebody else that broke their back would be different than the conversation you're having with me.
Exactly.
Because you guys would be synonymous with each other on how the journey was.
Yeah.
You know, so think about it. Same when you go to the bar and you meet other people at the bar. Say you're in a depressed state, and the alcohol is elevating you for that temporary moment. Then you meet somebody else in a depressed state that is elevated by that alcohol in that moment. Mm-hmm. Then you guys, you're best friends. You guys relate everything that you went through and this and this and this. But when the alcohol subsides, you're back to who you really are.
Yes.
And then you don't like each other. It's like you start embracing people that are just like you when you're in this state. You don't realizing that you're just getting parasite. Now you got a circle of parasites.
Yep.
And it shows. Same as the opposite. You know?
Yeah.
You start engaging with people on a different frequency that are doing productive things. Like anyone that's productive doesn't have time to be disrespectful. Anyone that has a life that is productive, that wakes up to be better, doesn't have time to judge this person or that person or say this or say that. They're too busy on their purpose.
Yeah.
When was the last time you woke up and got on social media and left a rude comment on somebody's page?
Oh, yeah.
I look at it like, if that's the way you feel, like, what are you doing on my page to begin with?
Exactly.
What is driving you to my page?
Yeah.
Like, how old are you to leave a message?
It could be a 42-year-old.
It could be that's what I'm saying. Like, there's chronicle maturity, then there's psychological, emotional, and spiritual maturity.
Yes.
Which are two different things. You can meet a 22-year-old person that is way more mature than a 48-year-old person.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but again, all of that comes with what type of attention are you paying to your own growth, to your own dynamic, to your own patterns, to your own growth. If you abandon those traits, you'll be an adult and you'll be able to see. Because I always tell you, like when you're doing good and you're taking care of yourself, and even if you have your own battles privately, you know, when you're good privately, it shows publicly.
Yes.
People will be able to see you and be like, oh, he's taking care of himself.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I always say is who you are in private is more important than who you are in public.
Yeah. Because your character is based on who you are when you're alone.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. You know, just being able to just be open to not only activate, but also embrace the ownership. You know, and again, like I was telling you, like it could be like what you think, what I think, what it seems like, and then what it really is. You know, and if we're in a circle with each other, what you think and what I think are not on the same frequency, then it creates some kind of turbulence because a lot of people don't know how to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Some people are not okay with, you know what, I'll meet you halfway on this. Mm-hmm. Or, you know what, I could see where you're coming from, perspective, like you were talking about. I could understand because communication seems to be a very important word in humanity, but communication with comprehension is a lot better.
And this all falls under maturity, though.
Maturity, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one word that's not really used a lot. Because nobody likes to talk about their own maturity.
Well, think about
rank
it.
Their own maturity.
When did you in school ever learn about the conscious evolution of your soul?
Oof, zero.
Never.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, you know, we have this systematic memory in our brain where we intake data. The only thing that's a fact is that we're intaking.
Yeah.
But what we're registering doesn't mean that what we're registering is an actual fact. Mm-hmm. The only thing that is synonymous with a fact is that we're intaking.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that what we're intaking and what we're registering, that those are facts.
Yeah. That's really good. We look at our levels of maturity. I look at it, and even with my energy on how depending on my maturity is how my energy is going to be given as well. If my maturity level is low, my energy is going to be out of tune. But once I'm matured in areas of my life, my energy is going to be protected. Where I give it, where I send it, and most importantly, how I give it to myself.
No, yeah. I mean, that's a great point. A lot of things that do come with maturity as well is
Experience.
the experience, of course. But again, experience is kind of synonymous with age, right? Because you can experience and not learn.
Yeah.
I always talk about the teachings and when you read, you can read all you want, but if you don't implement, you can't experience.
Exactly.
But once you're able to experience something different than what you're used to, then you want more. But that's a good more.
Yeah.
Because you want more that's healthy for you.
Exactly.
You want more that's better for you. And if you're better and you're healthier, then everyone around you is too.
Yeah.
Your kids, your family, your coworkers, your partner, your passion, your purpose. Now you're activating that energy and that growth into what you're doing. Like even the Decade 2.0, like I'm the proudest of that album because it's a great reflection of where I'm at in my life.
Exactly.
Now, that doesn't mean that in the process of recording that album from beginning to end that I didn't have obstacles. There was a lot of things that I went privately in the making of that album, but it didn't stop me from bringing that energy to my purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There were moments that I had of sadness and darkness, on a lower scale,
Yes.
Through that recording. But I was able to navigate through it and keep going and not allow anything to dominate me, to subside me, to suppress me and depress me and put me under a rock where I didn't have the ability to be me.
Yeah.
Even now, like I'm in a space in my life where I'm not dependent on someone else like that. If you don't buy my album, that's okay.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, that's okay.
Yeah.
If you don't like my music, that's okay. If you don't enjoy this podcast, that's okay. Because I don't do it for that. Everything that I do, and again, people say that there's something wrong with being selfish. Like, no, there's not.
No.
You have to be selfish.
And back to it. This is healthy selfish.
This is healthy selfish.
Yes.
Like you have to want the best for yourself.
Of course.
You have to want the best for you. You have to want to bring the best for you. Because if you do that, then everyone else gets to experience that part of you.
Exactly. You know who's the most proudest of my book? Myself.
You.
And it doesn't mean for everyone, if they didn't drop an album, if they didn't write a book, you got to be the proudest of what you have and who you are right now, of your maturity of growth. Like if you're looking like this is my car, be the proud of it in your job title and your job work and your work ethics and you're paying your bills. Be proud that you're paying your bills.
Of course,
and
because
you're not slumming.
That's what keeping a G is.
Yeah.
Keeping a G is paying your bills. Keeping a G is taking care of your kids.
Yeah.
Keeping a G is making sure that you live a healthy life.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to beat someone up. I'm going to be drunk. I'm going to go do drugs.
It's not teaching a 15-year-old how to load up
a M1.
Yeah.
That's crazy because the leadership that we had, that's a whole different type of real leadership.
Yeah.
But you got to remember when you're living in that bubble, that's all you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I was growing up and I would see like the blue waters of like Hawaii, I was like, this really exists. Like one day I'm going to go there. And I went there.
Yeah.
When I saw the pyramids, I'm like, these really exist. One day I'm going to go there. And I went there. When I saw the process of recording an album, I said, I like this. One day I'm going to do that. And I did that. And I don't say it to boost my ego.
No.
I say it that anybody on this planet can achieve whatever it is that they want if they can only dictate the difference between freedom and barriers.
Yes.
And what you want to embrace.
Yes.
You want to ride up the mountain or you want to glide through the atmosphere?
Freedom and barriers. That's a really good key you just touched on because we all carry it on ourselves, especially the way we talk ourselves. You have the opportunity to speak life to yourself, which brings freedom, or you have the position to speak down to yourself that you can't do it. That's the barrier in yourself. So even though you went to Hawaii, other people are like, oh, I wish I could go to Hawaii. You can.
You can.
You can.
Yeah, you can.
Speak that like, I'm going to do that. And you set yourself goals that I'm going to reach that. I'm going to save. I'm going to hold back. And I'm going to make sure I get there.
Well, like I was saying the other day, like when I do these tours and I get all these artists and we're live on IG. So I what's up, IG?
Come on.
I'll say it here. All these artists are free agents. Mm-hmm. Anybody can call them too. Anybody could go do that too.
Yeah.
It takes courage to do it. And it takes acceptance that you may do this and lose.
Yes.
Now, because you lost that particular event, does that make you a loser?
No.
No, it does
at
not.
all.
You know that's a part of growing. You have to fall down.
You know, I write that in my book. Failure does not mean it's the end. You know, it's just teaching you of ways that did not work, and it's giving you a new opportunity to try again. It's always
well, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like I was saying, like, how is temptation good for you? Temptation is good for you because it gives you an ability to prove and to show and explore your growth, right?
Yes.
But again, it goes back, like, because our emotion, like logic and emotion, like when you have a galaxy of emotions and you're a compassionate, empathetic person, you know, and you can't navigate that properly, like you can find yourself in some tough situations. I know I have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where you can end up hurting somebody that you're not trying to hurt, you know?
Yeah.
Because your heart's big, or, you know, it's like I say, like if you love with all your heart wherever you go.
Yeah.
You know, I remember Mickey Blue always says, if you're going to be a bank robber, then be the best bank robber. If you're going to be this, then be the best that, you know. But, I mean, ultimately, there's nothing wrong with thinking you're the best artist, you know.
No,
you're supposed to be. If you're a boxer, if you're a UFC fighter, if you're a, you know, if you run, whatever, like, you got to believe you can win.
You got to be your number one cheerleader.
Of course.
So we touched on maturity, energy, and where everything plays into its own realm. Let's talk about the purify of the thoughts. The thoughts, and we're talking about the freedom, and we're talking about being bonded. The thoughts is like
purifying your thought world.
Yeah.
I got that from James Allen, so I went and got this shirt done. You know, because again, and I'm guilty of this, and it's important to say that.
Yeah.
Because can you say that you have had contaminated thoughts in your life?
Oh, of course.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if you purified your thought world, what life would be like. Imagine if you really, really, really had the courage to wake up one day and just purify your thought world.
You know, Uno, there's times where I have a healthy state of mind and I'm good Monday through Saturday. But that Sunday morning when I'm about to get up and speak, I don't even want to look in the room because then my thoughts are going like, well, what if no one's in the room? What if, you know, just one person showed up? Like, will you still bring the same energy?
Yeah, no.
And then my mind starts going, and then I have to reevaluate, take a step back. Like, no, this is not healthy. This is not healthy thinking. But it comes organically. Not healthy thoughts come organically.
Well, it's part of humanity.
It is.
It is part of humanity, like, period. You know, you can be having a great time and you can be in the middle of just enjoying yourself. And the moment that a contaminated thought enters your thought world, it'll fuck up the whole program.
Yeah.
You know, you could be having a great time. You could be chilling. You could be cooking. You could be enjoying. But the moment a bad thought enters your mind, it'll change the whole dynamic of whatever it is that you're going through. Now, imagine if you do that and you do that and you do that over and over, and it creates this mountain. Then it makes you not want to care no more.
Yeah.
It makes you not want to, I don't want to be a part of that. Then it makes you believe that everybody's like that and that everything is like that. Like, here I am, I'm giving you the key to my galaxy so we could dwell together, but somehow my galaxy doesn't seem to fit. But we're free, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're free, but we're not.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I think everybody in some sense has, you know, contamination inside of them. Every single person has. Yeah. But again, it goes back to the maturity and to the energy. You have to be mature enough to activate the energy to make sure that you don't fall into contaminated thoughts.
Yes.
You know, which is hard to do.
It is.
Which is really, really hard to do.
Because it takes acceptance.
It takes acceptance, yeah, for sure. And again, you know, unfortunately, we have to learn how to be the lion and the fox.
Yes.
In the world that we live in. And that's just reality. In any sense, in the corporate world, in the suburbs, in the ghetto, in government, you have to learn how to be the lion and the fox.
Yeah.
You know, there's sometimes that you're going to do things that may seem a certain way to somebody else, but they're not that way to you. Mm-hmm. You know, like I told you, a homeless man one time told me that there's certain people that can do certain things, but certain things have to be done a certain way. Now, if a certain person doesn't understand that you're doing that for a certain reason, you're going to fall apart.
Yeah. That's so true.
You're going to fall apart. Don't matter if they're dwelling in your galaxy. But again, communication and miscommunication, look at the difference in that.
Yeah.
One's the devil and the angel. Miscommunication has killed millions of people throughout humanity and started wars. Communication has healed people and avoided wars and gave us time to evolve as humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, in our own world, because we all have our own galaxy, we all have our own world, our own vicinity inside of us. And, like you wake up, I wake up. Who's in your life every day? Who do you talk to every day? Who comes to your home every day? Who calls you every day? So those decisions are important.
Yeah.
Because when you let somebody in that close and that person has the ability to ruin your day with a phone call or a text, but when you get into the private, more intimate, most intimate parts of your life, and you give that to somebody, and because of some miscommunication or something that you just can't get on the same page from the same book on, it dissolves, man.
It does. When you're speaking right now, the first thing I think of is like, who am I allowing in my life? Who am I allowing in my inner circle that has the ability to speak, whether to affect my emotions? Who am I allowing like that? One of the people that I see every single day is my wife. I talk to my wife. She knows everything that I do, and vice versa. But she knows all the good stuff, all the bad stuff. She knows everything I go through, but it's because I trust her with all the information that I have, with everything that I go through. She knows things about me that nobody else knows. And I know things about her
that nobody else knows. Yeah.
And then outside of that, then I have my pastor, I have you, I have specific people that I only allow in that are able to see my good, to see when I'm down. You guys see when I'm in need, you guys know about it because I'm as healthy as I could get, but there are times that I'm gonna need support. Who am I leaning on?
Yeah.
It says in Proverbs, as iron sharpens iron, so a brother sharpens a brother.
Yeah.
You sharpen me as I sharpen you.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be no good to you if I'm dull.
If you're no good to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, that creates a huge paradox, and it creates a huge delusional state at times when you're trying to be as pure as you can be. Because when you are being pure, but you're not being pure to somebody else's narrative, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do at that point? Because you know you're coming from a good place, but somebody else is being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's what? Maybe I just need to love you from a distance.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to see you grow from a distance. And then, distance is space. There's no more togetherness.
No more.
And togetherness is what makes things, beautiful. But I will say this, that it's important that when you do love, love with all your heart. That way, if distance ever comes, you can leave a part of you embedded in somebody forever.
And you can love with all your heart from a distance.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, the impulsiveness, I have found myself I think I'm identifying with an impulsive, trait at times because I'm like, well, I'm not happy with the way this is. Maybe I should go do this instead. Now, is that logical or is that desperate?
That's desperate.
That's desperation.
Yeah.
That's desperation wanting me wanting control of it.
I look at it as you're not reacting out of wisdom, but you're reacting out of emotion.
Emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's tough because when we react out of emotion, not only can we, damage ourselves, but we could damage somebody else too.
Yeah.
And again, it's okay sometimes to apologize privately to yourself, because forgiveness really is for you.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay sometimes with that. Maybe me in this situation, that's it. And be able to keep going.
there are areas in every person that we carry regret. And like when you said forgiveness isn't, it's freeing us up. Whether they accept it or not, it's not for them. It's for allowing me to let go and to continue my growth.
But it takes a lot of consciousness and a lot of maturity to be able to understand that and accept it. Because those are words, powerful words.
Yes.
Being able to implement that and experience that in your life is huge.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that, then that means you're mature enough to keep on going.
It takes us back to maturity.
Maturity and activating the energy to be like, I'm okay with that. Like there are a lot of things in my life right now that I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. And there's other things that I struggle with. Like, wait, I don't know if I'm okay with this. Mm-hmm. Why can't I be okay with that too?
Yeah. Because
there's part of me that are confined to that.
And recognizing it shows your maturity. Yes. Yeah. I think it's really difficult, and I speak for myself too, to recognize the level of maturity we're at.
No, yeah. I mean, for sure. And I mean, because a lot of people attach maturity to age.
Yes.
And it's not really, really, really supposed to be like that.
The person I respect the most in age have low maturity as childlike. And just act out and you're like, why don't you get it? And it's like you're so much older than I, but age has no...
Same with death, though. Yeah. People attach death to a coffin or a casket. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes you have to mourn people and things that are alive without a casket. And again, to have the ability to do that is huge. Because that means that you're able to keep living while you're mourning. Yeah. When you stay in that mourning state, even like in my situation, that was a real situation with my brother. When I lost my mom, I was really young. The mourning process was different. I didn't really know how. When I lost my brother, I was 30. But I was in such a destructive state that I didn't know how to mourn either. My version of mourning is I'm going to drink my life away. Mm-hmm. I need to drink because I'm sad. I need to drink because I need to remember my brother.
You need to take away the pain.
I need to take away the pain because this is what I'm feeling right now. Yeah. But the greatest victory comes when you deal with your suffering in a healthy state.
Yes.
And you go through it.
Yes.
And you run through the fire.
And you feel all the emotion.
And you feel every single thing that you can feel. Yes. Now, this is where the impulse needs to be controlled.
Yes.
Because if we don't do that, then we bypass that and we take a shortcut to this and we end up back in this situation over and over and over and over again, which again, one day you come to the conclusion that you tell yourself, I don't want to care no more.
Yeah.
I don't care if you care. I don't care about your narrative. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you have to say. Because you're sick and tired of this redundant cycle of madness that seems to be never ending.
Yeah, that's so true.
Right? But the mutualism can subside that. But again, two people in rage can't create peace.
No.
Two hurt people cannot create peace.
Yes.
Because the only thing you're doing is you're playing ping pong with parasite balls.
Yeah.
That's it. You're going back and forth in a parasitical state to each other. And again, that's hard to do, especially when you're doing it with somebody you love.
Yeah.
With somebody that you love, because when you're dominant in your impulses, you think differently.
Yeah.
It's like a drunk person that's a good person. Once they're completely obliterated, intoxicated,
the thought process is
not the same.
No.
You're saying things, you're behaving in a certain way. And again, that's where the self-control has to come in.
And that goes back from logic to emotion. Using logic and wisdom compared to just emotion and out of desperation of just speaking, thinking. Yeah. One of the wisest things my mother told me as a kid, think before you speak. And I'm the type to just let it all out.
No, yeah. And I mean, I'm the same way, but again, even now in my adult life, I'm barely just recently starting to identify with, what? I have some impulsiveness here.
Yeah.
In these situations that is not allowing me to take a step back and deal with it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
I find myself like, nah, I'm going to get in my car right now and I'm going to try to go close this gap.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in my car right now and I'm going to go try to make this better. So am I when I do that, am I getting further to growth or am I getting closer to another regression?
Yeah.
Because I'm not taking the time to reflect.
Yeah.
And reassess and reassemble.
You know, and moments like that, we talk to each other, and you know, we're here to encourage each other. I'm very a passionate person. You know, if I get an idea, I run with it. Like, we'll figure it out on the way to go. Yeah. My wife says, "I like, pump the brakes.
Yeah,
let's think about this. Let's see what's gonna happen."
Yeah,
but more of that being done, I start to, instead of jumping, I'm starting to look back like, well, let me see. Now I'm always looking at the outcome. What does the outcome look like? Whether it's a good decision, bad decision, whether it's seems right at the moment or it seems wrong. I'm always trying to mix logic instead of emotion.
And that's, I think you said the most logical, analytical thing with reason that you can say is when you take time to look at the outcome. Mm-hmm. If you're going to put a microscope under anything, then you should put it into what's best for you.
Yeah.
You know, I know that it is good to be free and to take risk in life because we have to.
We have to.
But we have to also want the best for ourselves and do what's right for us.
If I may use church words, I always have to be in the spirit. Because if I'm not in the spirit, I'm going to be reacting in my flesh.
Right.
So to be in the spirit, I constantly have to stay in the word, in prayer, constant communication with God. So if like a moment comes where I'm being tempted, my flesh doesn't have the say. I'm in the spirit. I'm good. If a situation occurs that doesn't go my way, I'm not reacting out of my flesh. So I'm not quick to anger. I'm reacting in spirit out of love. Right. And now just this, but I do this in my life now, and it's helping me when I look at outcomes. Like I'm not using emotion or my flesh. I'm using logic, wisdom in my spirit. Like what will be the best outcome? So it's everything now. As we've done business, we look at the outcome. We start looking at the further, what's going to be good, healthy for us in general. Yeah,
and again, while in the process of doing that, you know, we're not thinking in an unrealistic state either.
And make no mistake, I made a lot of mistakes.
Oh, yeah, make no mistake, I made a lot of mistakes. Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for sure. But again, to everybody listening to this, I think people can resonate and, you know, embrace this type of podcast when we take ownership. Like I can tell you, I'm not sitting here trying to give somebody advice to somebody that, or in a sense that I haven't experienced.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been all of those things.
Yep.
You know, and I'm still on the journey and I still make mistakes. And you know, there's things that I'm still mourning. There's still things that I'm healing from. But on the same token, on the flip side of that coin, I'm still growing.
Yeah.
I'm still positive. I'm still productive. I still wake up and I'm healthy. I still wake up to be the best me. I don't wake up and, you know, get into a cycle of, you know, destructive behavior just because.
Even in the times of struggling, we still have the opportunity to grow. We don't just stay stagnant in the struggle.
No,
we don't let the struggle define us.
No.
We outgrow it. And I love that. And that's true. We are not perfect. We're just willing to be perfected.
That's dope. I'm not perfect, but I'm willing to be perfected.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, what I'd like to share just to anybody out there listening, what has worked for me may not work for you, but I'll tell you what's worked for me. What's worked for me is making sure that I create a safe environment, a self-healthy state, and to be the best me. Because if you are the best you, again, it trickles down to your kids, to your purpose, to your life, you know, and whatever it is that you dedicate to do. So my routine is I wake up, I take a shower, I read, I go train, I eat, and then I start my day. So by that time, I fed my mind, my body, and my spirit.
Yes.
So when I go about my day, I've already put in the work to give me an advantage towards the day if I run into something else. But I do have days that I wake up and I'm like, what in the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen? Like, how am I here? And again, it could be something that I neglected in the past. It could be something that has a consequence from the past, and again, like, it comes back and it bites you,
Yeah.
but again, it doesn't mean that what you're doing now, what you did in between, was not pure.
I love the word that you used. You give yourself the advantage.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. We have the opportunity to give ourselves a head start.
Yeah.
Compared to any problem, any situation, anything that's going to come back and bite us in the rear.
Yeah.
We could give ourselves the advantage. What are we feeding ourselves?
No, yeah, and you're absolutely right. I just think that, at this stage in my life and where I'm at, and it's important to reflect. It's important to reflect. It's important to reassess. It's important to study in solitude. It's important to grow in grief. It's important to de-escalate your own thoughts in the midst of some dysfunction.
Very good, because our thoughts are created from yesterday.
Yeah,
that day's done. The only thing we're promised is not even tomorrow, but we get the opportunity to have a new day. So are we going to carry negative thoughts into a brand new day, or are we going to take the new day and make new thoughts, new opportunity, new motivation, new ways for maturity, new energy?
Well, most people do the opposite. You got to remember, Joe Dispenza was saying we have 60 to 70 thoughts a day.
Yes.
Right? And we wake up in the morning, most of those thoughts are the same ones we had yesterday.
Of course, they're thinking right away, like, oh, is my phone going to get turned off?
Yeah, like it's scientifically proven that most of those thoughts or those dark thoughts or these complicated parasitic situations are only meant to stay with us for a minute and 30 seconds, okay? 90 seconds. That's scientifically proven. What keeps those thoughts there is the story attached.
Yeah.
The story attached to that emotion and that thought, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes them eternal. So now you're in rumination. Now, every day you're living in a thought process that is destructive to your state, and it doesn't allow you to enjoy the day, to enjoy your life, to exceed in your purpose, to see with clarity.
Yeah.
Because you're consumed as far as a thought or a moment that happened 20 years ago.
Yeah.
15 years ago, 10 years ago, 8 months ago, 7 months ago. But the only way to get that clarity is to take a step back in acceptance.
Yes.
And say, you know what? I am willing to do this even though it's going to hurt. Or I am not willing to do this because I don't want to hurt.
Yeah.
And again, the willingness and the unwillingness are very important.
Yes.
Because when you go into something willingly, subliminally, unwillingly, it never works.
No.
Because you're telling yourself, I can do this. But you're really telling yourself you can't.
Yeah.
And eventually it shows.
And, like we said before, a negative and a positive will not make a positive. It makes a negative,
Yeah.
Positive on top of positive will always produce more positivity.
Yeah, like anything else.
Yeah.
Right now in the world, in the ocean, there's one word ocean, but there's parts of the ocean that are murky. Yeah. There's parts of the ocean that are clear.
Yeah.
There's parts of the ocean that are smooth. Blue. Yeah, blue. Yeah. There's parts of the ocean that are, rough, brown. But again, the ocean is the ocean.
Yes.
And we have to learn how to navigate. And again, I'm learning.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep learning. And I'm going to continue the journey. And it's going to hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. To me personally, where I'm at in my life, it's important to wake up and do what I do every morning. Because I don't know what I would do if I didn't. That's my own therapy. That's my own nourishment. That's the way I nurture myself. I no longer train and go to the gym to see what my external results are. For me, it does something internally.
Yes.
It does something internally, and it helps me. Self-discipline. It helps me just feel better. So if I feel better, I'm going to think better. If I feel better and I think better, I am going to do better. Yeah. If I feel better and I think better and I do better, it will be better. And I believe that.
Yeah.
self-belief has to be the size of the galaxy too.
Of course.
You know? And again, some people are not going to be okay with what you believe in. Some people are not going to be okay with things that you're doing.
And you're going to have to be okay with that.
And you're going to have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, so it is what it is.
We don't live for other people's opinions. We have to live for our own, believing that we are making the right decision. And even if it's not, we're going to have to learn to accept it and continue to move forward. So it's what we think, it's what we produce is most important.
What we produce is, like you said, you know, and again, I'll openly say that I've produced things that have not been healthy for somebody. Mm-hmm. You know, and again, what do I do at that point?
Yeah.
You try to make it better. And then, you know, something from the past will keep showing up and keep showing up and keep showing up. Then, you know, you get to a point and you're like, well, what else could I possibly do? I've done A, I've done B, I've done C, I've done D, I've done E. But then you start feeling like no matter what you do, it's not enough. So when you get those feelings of I'm doing, I'm giving, I'm doing, I'm giving, I'm giving, I'm giving, and it's not enough, then it challenges you.
Yeah.
It challenges you. And then it starts slapping you in the face too. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it logically? Or am I doing it emotionally? Am I doing it intelligently? Or am I doing it desperately?
Yeah.
And to navigate, though, that type of dynamic, you got to be conscious.
Yes. And make no mistake, through your journey, through the struggles, it doesn't have to be a constant beat down. It doesn't have to be a constant breakdown. You could find joy in your journey. You could find the happiness in your journey. You could find like, oh, you know what? I messed up.
Yeah.
All right, you know, okay.
Let me do this. But again, also the whole boundary thing, you know, you have to respect your boundaries so nobody else is, you know. But, you know, to me, where I'm at in my life right now, I would say the problems that I do have are nothing compared to the problems that I had, you know, in the past.
Yeah.
You know, I've lost people and I've gained people.
Yeah.
You know, I've lost things that I thought I couldn't live without. You know, and I came to find out that I actually can live without that.
You won't know until you let it go.
And you won't know until you let it go.
Yes.
You know, again, and if it's meant to be in your life, then it'll return to your life.
Exactly.
You know, in the meanwhile, you got to do your life. And you got to nurture your life. And you got to respect your life. And you got to give to your life.
The key word, you got to respect
your life. You know, that being said, you know, what else can we do, right?
What else can we do?
But come back and keep doing these episodes.
This is good. Come back and continue to grow.
Come back and continue to grow. Like, I mean, come on, dude. When I did the song Every Day We Grow, I didn't really know in the midst of how much I was growing.
Yeah.
You know, like I play it right now and people still love it because it was a moment. You can download a song, you can download an album, but you can't download an experience.
Yes.
Brother, it was good today.
It was awesome. I loved it. Touched on a lot of key points. I look forward to the next one.
Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
Love you, brother.
Be blessed.
Let's go.